Hey, welcome to the sixth episode now, I believe, of the Shato Asha podcast. We're joined by, if I'm not mistaken, the three strongest people of Bangladeshi ethnicity in the entire world. We have a 59, a 66 who definitely should be a 74, a 59 who should definitely be a 66, and we have a 74 who's way too damn tall to be a 74, so he should be an 83. So they're nowhere close to where their top ends will be before their careers are over. So it's a very, very exciting time to be talking to all three of these. Welcome, you guys. Welcome Ishtyaq, welcome Kibria, and welcome Saber. Cool. All right.
Who's talking first?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was waiting for one of them to say something, and I'm
I
just
was
like,
just to say thank you guys for inviting us to the podcast.
Yeah,
Very happy.
absolutely. Yeah, we love having strong people on. We have a lot of questions for you guys. We kind of want to get to know the three of you because you're kind of helping us wrap up from the athletic side. You're wrapping up the Pioneer series for us because you three, I don't know how aware of this you guys are, but you three kind of lead the way for people like myself, people like Rafi Bhai, right? Like you are setting the standards for us. And it's like, we're never going to look at a Russell Orhe. We're never going to look at a David Wilson or Sean Noriega and say like, you know what, that's the guy I'm chasing. It's probably not, we're not really within their opener level, right? Like we're not even within their last warm-up level. But you three, and not to bring you guys down, but not to put you guys down, but you three are making us believe that, okay, you know what, like we can believe a little more. We can probably aim a little bit higher. So everything that you're doing is kind of paving the pathway for generations of Bangladeshis to come. So
that was the nicest way that you could call us average.
I will only call your bench average, but that's yet to
you guys can speak for yourselves, man. Don't include me in that.
I don't think a lot of people are aware of you guys in Bangladesh, especially.
You know, are most of the listeners from Dhaka, or are they just all over Bangladesh?
We'll have a couple people from Sylhet. We'll have a couple people from Chittagong. We'll have a couple people from Khulna. But I don't even know if the way I pronounce these states or divisions like make sense to you guys. Maybe you guys pronounce them entirely differently because Saber Bhai calls it Dhaka. But
what is the correct way to say it?
Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Well,
not
currency.
Dhaka, Bangladesh.
What, Dhaka?
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
All right, before we even get into questioning, please tell me, each of you, please take turns. Ishtyaq, we can start with you. Say something in Bangla, just for our listeners. I'm just curious how you guys speak in Bangla. Like any sentence. Just be like, Amar Nam Ishtyaq or something.
Bro, I have the most whack Bangla of these three. So, Amar Nam Ishtyaq, আমি ইংল্যান্ডে থাকি আমার বয়স how do you say I don't even know how you say 24 yeah, that's a simple introduction. Unless you want to ask me another question if you go into more details.
Ishtyaq talks Bangla like, you know, when your mom puts you on the phone to somebody from back home and you got to pretend like you know how to speak Bangla. Yeah, speak to your aunt. That's how he talks Bangla.
Bro, I was fluent when I was a kid, innit? But then I just lost it. I just lost it over time. I mean, I can understand it, but it's like my speaking has just gone whack.
Speak Bangla with your mom and dad?
Yeah, but I mix it in with English basically.
That's the thing. At my house, I have to speak Bangla with my mom and dad, so we have to make sure that it's good. Otherwise, it's like if it's not polite way of speaking, then they get offended.
Yeah, with me, like I've forgotten like the honorifics and stuff, so like how to say it politely and all that. Yeah, I need to.
Do you call your mom tuitai? Be like, tui kita korre.
I used to until they told me that was rude.
Kibria, you're up. I want to hear something in Bangla from you.
আমি কিতা কইতাম আমিও জানি না আমি জানি সিলেটি মাতি তোমরা বুঝো নি আমি কিতা কইরাম
মনু সবই বুঝি
There you go, that's enough in it.
Saber, are you Sylheti as well?
I am. Yeah, now কোনো সিলেটি ছাড়া কিছু মাতি না. Like if I spoke like Ishtyaq করলাম যদি মাতি আমার মা আমারে পরে দি থাপা দি
আমি বাংলা একদমই বুঝি নাই।
You didn't understand that?
একদমই বুঝি নাই, লাইক একেবারে কি বললো?
I think the only person I know from, your region that understands me fluently is my friend Shishir. He's been hanging around with me so much. He can't speak it, but he can fully understand Sylheti.
Is he not Sylheti?
No, he's not from Sylhet.
No way.
I think he's from
I just assumed all these Bengalis from London are Sylheti.
No, he learned.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, I don't even trust them when they say they're not Sylheti, because all London-based Bengalis are Sylheti.
Yeah, most of us are. Like, I only knew one or two Dakhis growing up.
All right, so that was something. I mean, you guys have. I'm probably gonna make fun of your British accents as well at some point. You can make fun of the fact that I paid taxes to genocide government or whatever. Anyway, yeah. All right. With that being said, I would love to jump into some of our topics that we've discussed for today right off the bat. I want to know. Let's start off with training history for each of you, and we can kind of go in order of like weight classes. We can go with Ishtyaq first, Kibria second, and Saber at the end. So with that being said, I would love to hear like when did you guys start? How long have you been kind of lifting? And when you started, what numbers were you at versus what numbers are you kind of at today?
And then what's your story? Like, how did you get into powerlifting? And then what motivates you, right? Your background, just your background as well.
Ishtyaq, going first.
Yeah, go first. Okay, so I'll start with like how I got into training in general before I get into powerlifting. So I started training at 16 years old, so that was just under 8 years ago now, after I finished high school. So if you're not familiar, we finished high school at 16 years old in the UK. So during that summer holiday between high school to college is when I started training. So the reason I started training, basically anime, bro, Dragon Ball Z. I wanted to be jacked like them. I actually started karate like when I was 11, 12 first, because I wanted to learn how to fight, but I joined the wrong place. I should have joined MMA or something. And basically, the way it works there is like they don't really teach you combat until like years down the line. So I just got bored of that. So I just got bored of that. I was like, all right, they're not teaching me how to fight. Let me get jacked instead. So I went gym, and I got basically I saw progress like relatively easily compared to my peers. So obviously I'm like pretty short, 5'2", and at the time I was at 50 kilos. But at the time I was basically matching or surpassing like my mates who were like normal height, more like 5'8", 5'10", who I was either matching them or surpassing, even though I was way smaller. So like I knew from them like I was decently gifted at gym, and yeah, I looked like I could lift like within a year. So my starting numbers in general were I benched 40 kilos for like 3 reps first ever time. I went gym. Squat 50 for 1. Deadlift was probably the worst one at the start because I was just too scared to go heavy, because you know that myth, deadlifts are bad for your back. So I did 70 for 1 first. Now I was just doing more like general strength training. I was doing like squat, bench, and deadlift, but I wasn't doing it like consistently, and I was focusing more on like just being a bro in general. But I was doing all 3 of those since I started. Then after a year, I got, well, just over a year, I got to like a 100 kilo bench, a 130 squat, and a 190 deadlift, which was like with straps. And then I think for like a few years, day on, I made like small progress. And then while I was in uni, so actually at that time I didn't know much about powerlifting, but when I started, I did follow the 2 powerlifters I did know were Larry Wheels. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. The reason I knew about him was because he actually followed my Instagram when he was tiny, but then I followed him back, but then he obviously unfollowed me. You know that tactic where people follow me. But I continued following him because he was like a beast. So the first sense of powerlifting I knew was like untested powerlifting. Then after that, I somehow found Russ on YouTube, which he kind of bridges the gap between the normie gym goers and powerlifters. He was like that bridge for me to get into that. Obviously, when I first saw him, I thought he wasn't 90 years old. Obviously, now I do believe he's 90, considering where I was able to get up to. So, like, those are the 2 powerlifters that I kind of knew. And I didn't really know much outside of that until I got to uni. So, in the uni gym, like the powerlifting club, they told me I was pretty strong, that I should compete for weight class. So then I just looked up the records at the time. I think my best deadlift ever at that time was like 220, which was about the same as the British 59 kg deadlift record at the time. So then obviously I didn't know how national records and stuff worked. So I signed up for a meet. I thought I could break a record at any meet, but then I found out I couldn't. So I tried to match that with on that day I locked it out, but then I dropped it. But yeah, that's how I got started, and then just continued from there.
Is that the meet?
When you drop a deadlift, like, do you guys just go like, oh, bollocks in it, or like, do you guys just like just walk away and just be like, do you know what, like, it's all right, like?
No, we say no bad days and move on.
You just kind of move on. Okay.
No, we say no bad days and then we move on.
Oh, I love that. Hell yeah. All the shit talking towards Team Nori. You know what? Like, I'm no longer on that team, so I'm more than happy to talk shit about them. All right, Kibria, you're up. Would love to hear some of your story.
So me, I didn't start when I was 16. I started when I was like 21. No, 22 actually. I started lifting in general when I was 22. And I started because I was getting married and I was quite skinny and I needed to get a bit bigger to fit nicely into my wedding suit. And once I got married, then I realized, you know what, I don't really care for bodybuilding much. I want to get stronger. Because as you get bigger, you generally just get stronger. So like when I first started, I couldn't bench the bar. So that's where my weakness in bench come from. But I could squat, like, I think I squatted 3 plate by the time within the first 6 months. So 3 plate is 140 kg. And then my deadlift was kind of crap at the time as well. It was like 140 kg as well. So my squat was almost better than my deadlift. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed squatting and deadlifting, not bench that much. I enjoyed more of dumbbell presses and stuff. So even after I got married, I realized I wasn't enjoying bodybuilding much. I was leaning more towards powerlifting. And then one guy in my gym, he was one of those GPT lifters. So it's more like untested, like he said, untested lifters. And he was telling me about all these records and everything. He's like, oh, for your body weight. At the time, I was around 60, 61 kg. He was like, for your body weight, you'll break all these records and everything. And I looked at the GPT record. There was nothing because there wasn't many people that were on steroids that were that light. So there was no records at that weight. So I was looking to break them records. Then I thought to myself, why am I going to go and compete untested competitions? And my goal was always, as I get stronger, I'm going to get bigger anyway. So I'm going to compete at 66. And then I found a competition local while I was on holiday. Actually, I was on my honeymoon and I was thinking about powerlifting. And then I found a local competition and just entered. And then once I entered, that's when I started finding out about the rules. I didn't even know the rules. It was like people in the warm-up room were telling me, oh yeah, you got to make sure you have to wait for the command on bench. Because I knew you have to pause it at the chest, but I didn't know you have to wait for someone to say start. And I knew about squatting to depth as well, but I didn't know that you have to wait till somebody says rack. Things like that, I didn't know. But that's generally how I got started. And then after that, I think I came second at that competition. And I didn't like that. I was like, you know what, I don't like losing. It wasn't really losing. It was like everybody was beginners there. So I just enjoyed the whole competition and wanting to be the best and continued really from there.
2018 comp you're talking about?
That's the 2018, the first one, the West Midlands junior competition. I was junior at the time, but I think I was 23, but like last year of junior then.
And what were your numbers at your first meet? What did you end up hitting?
I'm going to pretend like I don't know at the top of my head, but I actually do. I hit 160 kg squat, 102.5 kg bench, and then 200 kg deadlift. 63 kg, 63.3.
Remember every specific number, bro.
I don't know. You know, with numbers, I think I'm a bit autistic. I remember numbers really well.
Oh yeah, I love that. It's so funny that like you started lifting to fit into your freaking wedding suit. Ishtyaq started lifting because of freaking Dragon Ball Z of all things. Like he just wanted to like he tried his very best in the shower to go Super Saiyan. It didn't work out, so he was, you know what, maybe the gym will help. That's really, really funny. But I feel like Saber Bhai might have a little bit more of a traditional start. I'm curious. I don't really know. All I know is that like you fit the finance pro stereotype really well. You're a power lifter. You're on a podcast right now, and you work in banking. Like, please tell us a little bit about like how you kind of got into this space, Pat.
So I I joined the gym for general fitness straight out of university. And it was just needed a hobby. So prior to going to the gym, I used to box, I used to fight. I was an amateur. And after university, I spent a year helping with one of my uncle's businesses. It was like full time. I had to help him set up his business, assisting him where I could. So I had no time to do anything else. So I used to go to the gym like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., train, and then go help him all day. So that was like how I sort of started training. No powerlifting movements, no squat, no bench, none of that. It was just general fitness.
Mhm.
And that stayed for about a year or two, and then after that, moved gyms, and then started training with a friend. And then he introduced me to just the bench press. Like I still wasn't squatting or deadlifting. I used to see people squat and deadlift, and I used to think, I don't want to do that. It's too many plates to move. It's just too much work.
Yeah.
I tried the leg press machine. I did that, and like a year or two later, just slowly started doing, you meet people, you start seeing the powerlifters and you think, I want to be jacked as well. And so you start doing what they're doing, right? Because you want to be jacked. And that was it. Started powerlifting, but not necessarily for competition. It was more like me and my friends, after a full day of whatever work we had, in the evening, what do you want to do? Let's go gym, then we'll go out to eat in a restaurant, then we'll go out and whatever.
Right.
And that was my life for like I'd say the first 2-3 years of my powerlifting. It was purely just a means of, let's go gym, let's go out. It was just something to do with the boys.
A sense of belonging, a sense of community, all of that.
Yeah, so you met the community. That's how I met Shashir. We became good friends. Actually, 2 or 3 of my very good friends today are purely out of powerlifting, or training, powerlifting. And that's how it was. We used to go out, we used to eat, stay out late night. It would start off with the gym because that's where we'd meet up, right? We were all doing different things. The gym was like where we used to meet up. We'd train for an hour and then we'd go out. I think when I started, I couldn't bench the bar straight. My best deadlift was 50 kilos. And squat was probably like 80, 90 kilos. And it was, when the other thing was like, when I did all that, and like my first competition was like, I'd say a year or 2 after I started learning the movements. Best squat was probably 150, 60. Bench was about 110. Deadlift was probably 200. And yeah, I think I would say any powerlifting I did pre-COVID wasn't I wasn't serious. I didn't follow a program. Like it was on and off. It was more, like I said, a means of meeting up with friends and hanging out, and that's where you start. I think like that year leading into COVID, I started getting serious because my, like work side picking up, career side picking up, and then it's like now I don't have time to do what I was doing, hanging out, whatever, but I still need a hobby and I need an outlet.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to pick this up and see where it goes. But then COVID happened. And I fully quit. During COVID, I didn't powerlift at all. Completely gave up because I had no means of training. And, it was a year and a half of no gyms here. So, and then after gyms opened, it took me about another 8 months to get back into it. I spent 8 months trying to think of other things to do except powerlifting because I didn't want to come back to powerlifting. And I think it was so silly. Someone triggered me in the gym one day, and I thought, how can I really hurt this person? Not in a spiteful way,
right?
But like
right.
I want to troll them.
Whoa, what's going on here?
And this guy's a 93 kilo powerlifter, and I thought, how can I troll him? And so I thought, okay, I'm going to come back as a 74 and I'm going to out-total him. And that's why I returned to powerlifting, to troll him.
I totally know who you're talking about. You're definitely talking about the guy that you shouted out when you pulled 300 kilos and said like, and it's funny to think that I nearly gave this up. It would be around to remind him.
So I purely came back to troll him. And then,
I love that.
Then that, that year,
Is that your number one hater guy?
Are you talking about
number one hater? Is that what you're talking about?
I think I tagged him on one of my posts, but I don't really speak to him much because I've changed gyms and I moved home.
Oh, then it's not anyone I would know. Then I thought you were talking about another someone else. I thought you were talking about Abdullah.
Yeah, same. No, I thought you were talking about Abdullah.
Homes. So back then, I was living closer to the almost you could call it inner city for these guys. Now I live in the suburbs. So 2023 is when it all kicked off for me. Like, really started getting into my lifting. 2023, I changed jobs. I had my first child. I moved homes. I moved gyms. Like, I was like, I'm gonna take powerlifting seriously because otherwise I don't have a hobby. And I really started getting into it. Like, I changed gyms for the sake of the equipment. I literally called Ishtyaq. I remember I was in Cannes. I was on holiday in Cannes and I called Ishtyaq on Instagram. I think I messaged him and I said, I need a coach. Like, I need a good, solid coach. I'm going to give this one big push. And Ishtyaq is the reason why I'm with Sean today. So yeah, I'd say like the last 2 years of my powerlifting is when I've really given it a push. Prior to that, it was all fun and games. Yeah, that's me now. So now, yeah, as you said, I work in the city. I have 2 children now, 2 babies, and I lift as well as I can.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, like you've been influencing people to go into the graveyard shifts and the night shifts as like much.
More people should know about your stories.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I don't think many people can really. I don't know. Like most people can't even fathom the amount of like externals that like someone with a family, someone with like more responsibilities have to go through before you can even get to the gym, right? Like you got to put out the fire at your home before you go even like deal with the fire in the gym. Yeah, like
I think at 6 a.m. So a typical day for me would be wake up at 6, shower, whatever, get ready, and then eat breakfast, spend time with my daughters because I only see them for an hour. 7 a.m. get up, go to the office. I'm in the office till between 4 and 6. It really depends on the day.
Right.
Because of the nature of my job, the days vary. So on a bad day, I could leave at 6:30 p.m. On a good day, if it's quiet, I can excuse myself by like 4 p.m.
Okay.
Come home, eat dinner with my daughters, stay home until they fall asleep, which is usually around 7 p.m. Keep in mind, I'm still awake. Just hopped on caffeine at this point.
Yeah.
Then 8 p.m. I leave the house if I'm lucky, sometimes 9. And then yeah, the gym is only a 10-minute drive. I moved to be closer to the gym for that reason. And then yeah, 9 till midnight I'll train. And then come home. I eat my dinners before, so it's just come home, shower, and go straight to sleep to wake up at 6 a.m. and do it again. That's a typical day.
That's absolutely great. Like 6 hours of sleep, and you're just kind of running on that nonstop. Do you train 4 days a week? How often do each of you train? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I do 4 days. I was doing 5, but I think Sean just realized I can do enough 4 days. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I get Wednesday and the weekend off. And that 2 days rest sets me up nicely for the next week.
So is Monday like a primary SBD type day?
No, so I don't do SBD. So my primary squat and bench and deadlift, they're split across Thursday, Friday. And Monday, Tuesday are like my primer days.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
It's similar to mine, except mine is Thursday and Saturday I do my primary days. And then Monday, Tuesday, then Thursday, Saturday. Because I can't train on a Friday.
Okay. Ishtyaq, how often are you training? I'm assuming because you've got the garage gym, you're probably slightly higher frequency.
Yeah, I do 5 days a week, so Monday to Thursday and Saturday. The Friday and Sunday off.
Nice.
If I had a gym, I'd be there every day, man. Why are you not there every day?
He's definitely there every day. Like when Sean's
He's probably
not
there, like
there,
doing bicep curls and stuff as well.
yeah, he just goes in and presses like one red nonstop for like 3 sets of 20 and then like leaves the gym.
Well, I've
You
done
ever
that in the
feel like
past.
just going there and doing some extra work?
In the past, yeah, but now like I'm more locked in and I don't just do like random shit. So before, yeah,
Like
I used to always do that.
sometimes because my gym is half an hour drive from my house, and sometimes like on my rest day, I'll be driving past my gym and I'm thinking, shit, should I just go and get an extra session in?
Yeah, I used to do that, but I have to be more locked in now, especially when I have Worlds in 6 weeks. I'll be doing like random sessions every now and then. But yeah, I definitely used to do that. I think one time, like a year ago, I squatted every day for a week, just see what would happen to my body. And like, yeah, it wrecked me. Yeah,
Have you not seen that guy on YouTube who does squat every day?
Oh yeah, he's like he's
Ivan
on like
something.
1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you guys
that's
seen
the
that?
reason. That's the reason I tried it.
No, I wouldn't try it, man. Is it squat good? I've only seen the title. I don't know if his squats are good.
No, not for his weight. He squats less than you. He squats more than me, but he squats less than you in Saber.
But I'm a really good squatter, though, innit?
Yeah, but I think he's like 90 kilos or something. So his weight's
But
not that good.
you know how Saber said about like having family and training and whatnot. I might say something controversial, you know.
Okay.
It's actually not that hard to train while having a family and everything, if you know how to balance it right. If you have, you know how he said he has a timetable. Like once you get in a routine, like in Ramadan, I had the best block ever. Is because I've had a really good routine. It was like every time it was I
Consistent.
trained at the same, yeah, more consistent, same time. I knew how my body is at that time. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a family, I feel like you have more routine. So you have to train. Whereas if you don't have a family, you have so much free time. Like your training is sometimes you're training in the morning, sometimes you're training in the evening. You don't have that same routine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you live in a car, so I heard you drive to the gym, so you camp out.
Exactly. It makes it easy for me, innit?
No, so I mean, no, I agree. So, you know, my routine is very regimented, and it's why I can train. But is it the most optimal time to train? No. By then, I'm knackered. I'm falling asleep. I have to sometimes drink a coffee at 9 p.m. to get myself into that session. I think what I've learned is my optimal training time is around lunchtime. But unfortunately, given the nature of my work, I can't train at lunch. But we have moved into a new office. I heard there's a 3-floor gym in my new office, so I need to check that out. Because
Let's go.
Yeah, so if there's decent equipment there, I might be able to do at least half my session at work, and then in the evenings it's a bit more of a chilled session.
Having an office gym is a game changer. I used to do that in my very first job out of college. It was unreal. Like I'd go in the lunch break for like 45 minutes, finish all my barbell work super quick, and then go back for accessories after work.
So you're gonna be training at your optimal time now, Saber?
It depends. They haven't opened the gym yet. I need to see what equipment they have, because a lot of these offices, they don't. There's specific insurance is needed to have specific weights, like free weights and barbells. So depends on the business and what kind of what they invested in. So I don't know yet.
If you train there, you shouldn't have any excuses not to win a national, right? Because you're the only Bengali out of us three that hasn't won one. Or have you won any?
No, I came third, but I mean, you know, Ishtyaq competes with nobody by himself, and
Aftab actually, he competed with Aftab.
He's 66 now, and honestly, that wasn't close.
But
that wasn't close.
yeah, Aftab's a decent lifter, but he shouldn't be 59 nor 66. He should be a 74.
He should be 74. Yeah, definitely.
Same as you,
Kibria,
man.
No, I don't cut as much as him to make 66.
But aren't you guys at the same height?
No, but he's a lot more leaner than me.
Yeah, sure he is.
No, even as a 66, guy's all veins, skin and veins. You see him outside competition, chain smoking, struggling to survive with a really bad cut. And I'll tell him every time, like, bro, you should be like 2 weight classes up. Stop doing this to yourself.
He competed for Bangladesh.
There's one thing I After he competes like 10 times a year.
I
He
rate that.
does that. Yeah, that's like he's basically French. He's not really very British at all.
Yeah, even his attempt selections are French, man. He opens
He
up with his
is
back
actually. He is very French.
I think he literally just did the equipped lifting, but he wasn't equipped.
He
Yeah.
did raw.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I've
went
seen a
to
few other people do that.
And Tony does that every now and then because he has no one to compete
Tony
against.
Clip.
Yeah,
Tony wins though.
yeah, he has no one to compete against. So yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
how
Saber,
you
I mean,
guys are-
I know we took a quick stab at Saber. Sorry, Arfif. I do want to help redeem this man's image just a little bit. Saber, what was the last competition that or the last meet that you competed at? Was it something European, Western European? Was it?
It was Western European, yeah. That was in August last year. They literally called me up like 8 weeks before it started.
Mhm.
I had to literally cut down so I was already 81 kilos walking. Because I as I'm sure actually I don't know, Kibria seems to walk around closer to 59 than he does 66. But when I had my children, my body weight shot up. Like it just the stressors shoot up and
you have a sweet tooth.
I was walking around like 81. I had no intentions of competing because I was in the thick of it. My daughter Yusra, she was because when she was born, she had some issues. She wasn't breathing, and so the first couple of months of her birth were quite difficult, to say the least. So I wasn't in the mindset to compete. I was just focused at home. So my body weight shot up 81 kilos. So then when they called me, I just thought, why not? I might never see this experience again. I just thought I'm gonna do it. I cut down from 82, I think, 81 or 82, all the way down to 73. Within like 8-9 weeks. And then I just went to Iceland and competed. It was great. I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really good competition. I got a nice.
Like I'm curious. Like you won an international meet. Who the hell is left ahead of you other than the one guy who squats really well and threw up at some world's meet or something, if I remember correctly? Is that the only person that's left ahead of you at this point in the 74s?
I think right now in the 74s, like, okay, I'm not in the rankings because I haven't competed since August, and they update it periodically. And every year, if you don't compete, then your name gets cut off until you do come back in. Like right now, I would sit like 5, 6. There's really good 74. So there's Sam Drew from Wales. I mean, you guys won't know these people, but there are at least a good 5, I'd say, ahead of me. But it's nice.
74 is one of the most competitive in GB, I'd say, along with 93 and 120s.
74s are always stacked, and it's nice for me to be able to say, like, even in the stacked weight class, I'm guaranteed like in the mid, like top. I'll either be bottom, like top 5 or top 10 always, and to me that's great given everything that I've given my training sort of and my externals. I think that's a great achievement. I'm really happy to be able to always keep myself in the top 10. So yeah, the 74s recently, like there's been quite a few 83s coming down to 74s, and they're really blowing open like the competition. Like they've managed to hold on to their strength. Like Sam Drew, for example, I'd mentioned, he's from Wales. Really strong. He's 83. He was 83, came down, managed to retain his strength. So like he probably will be the next 74 champion, I think.
You think he'll beat Dylan?
For sure.
I think honestly Sammy's probably gonna be the best 74 candidate this year.
And
I think it's gonna be Sammy or Amari.
Yeah.
Because Amari doesn't post his lift, but I've seen him. He trains a few things here and there, but I think he'll probably be one of the strongest as well.
Ishtyaq, I think you might be the best person to answer this. Are we talking high 700s?
For who?
For the top 2 guys, Sammy and then.
Oh no, they so the
Not
current
high
best is
700.
Dylan. They're in the low 7s. I
The
think
low-
Sammy will eventually be in the low 7s and probably mid 7s.
Oh, come on. Saber can be in the low 7s. I have zero doubt about this.
Yeah.
Like
But Sammy,
maybe when he's
he used to be
M1 and stuff.
66. But Sammy he used to be a 66. Like his 66 record was on the best he done 66 was only 4 kilos below Kibria, and he's only been like 74 for 6 months, and he's not even filled out the weight class. So yeah, he'd probably
I think
actually be
yeah,
750.
forgot about them. Yeah, I think the 66s coming into 74s will be quite difficult to beat for a lot of these guys.
And Kibria eventually comes as well.
I don't think Kibria will beat them, especially with his bench. I mean, the guy's still benching 100, so.
I don't need a bench, man. Have you seen my squat and deadlift?
Mate, you squat like 20 kilos more and you bench like 50 kilos less. It's not gonna help you. The ratios are way off.
Don't worry, man. When it comes to the time, we'll see for that, and I probably will do a 74 come as a 66 though.
I feel like we have a little
But-
gradient. Like as we go from 59 to like the higher weight classes between the three of you, like we're basically seeing like ultra competitive, very competitive. I'm just happy to be here, like in the top 10. Like that's kind of how it goes. I feel.
You know what it is? I feel
Yes,
like this. I've invested a lot of time in powerlifting since what? Apart from COVID, let's not count COVID. So that was like a year where I didn't train at all. But if you count 2018, 2019, then 21, 22, 23, that's 5 years of my life I've spent training. And I don't want to be the second best.
Yeah.
Spending 5 years investing so much time, and I don't want to go home. And when my children grow up and I tell them, I'm the second best or I'm the third best, I was top 5. I personally, I'm not happy with that.
That might be
It sounds like
your future coming into the 74s, and it's easy saying that when you're 66 competing against Joey.
oh
Nah.
that hurts. Poor Joey.
Uh,
I've had it
Joey.
harder than Ishtyaq. I've had it harder than Ishtyaq. Ishtyaq literally had nobody. Joey's
Okay.
a really good bencher.
Wait, okay, at the British level, no, I haven't. At the world level, I've had way more stronger competition than you guys.
Forget world. We're talking about
But
British.
yeah, the
Yeah,
British
well,
level, I haven't had anyone.
Our world, like if I go to world, I have it even harder.
You could have gone to bloody
You could have gone, man. Joey's instead.
We got Joey going to fucking Worlds, and Kibra's at home. Bloody
You know
living
that.
Bro, you're not the one who still
that-
hasn't got GB singlet albums.
right on.
You know that comes back down to what you said earlier. You know, like after I had my son a week before the selection meet,
Oh shit.
and my stress levels were really high. I was not gonna make weight. Like my weight was just going up. I was on a cut. My weight was going up,
Wait,
and I was like,
a couple of days before that, and you said you were only a few hundred grams to making weight. I came to
No, I did
Birmingham.
not. No, I did not. I asked you what's your gut cut diet. You know, remember in the HSU group?
Yeah, no, but I thought. Sorry,
Because I was like, I need to do a harsher cut, but with the way my diet was going, it was just going up, man. I was like, I ain't gonna make weight.
when I saw you in Birmingham, when I came down to train with you, I thought you were like 1 kilo out. So I thought, okay, you
Was
made
that
it.
before my son was born? When did we meet up? I can't remember. How
It was, I think,
it
like,
must have been before my son was born. Because before my
Yeah.
son was born, I was around 68, and after he was born, I was touching 70 kg.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
gonna need to post a soundbite of this, and Saber Bhai, I'm definitely gonna need a like receipt from you, like from your inbox with Kibria Bhai, where he says like, "No, I'm just hanging out around 65.4 kilos or 66."
He wasn't inbox. He was in person.
No evidence.
Yeah, we-
That's it.
I thought he told me he was good with his weight was making good progress for that competition, because when he dropped out, I think we were all a bit surprised, slightly shocked, because we knew, like, because I thought even if you're having it tough at home,
Mhm.
given that the competition was only like an hour drive from him,
Yeah.
I
It
would have
wasn't
said
an hour drive.
leave a total and then go home, anything, because that competition was basically where they choose the GB guys from.
Right.
And now we have someone in his weight class going to GB that has like 50 kilos below his total, and
Right.
it's silly.
Yeah, it was definitely silly. I mean, Joey's barely touching like 580 at the time. I think he's hit 600 in recent times.
He's like 6'10", 6'15" now, but yeah, he's still
I
below.
think
what
yeah,
Kibria is.
670.
Like
But I think he'll be
580-ish.
more. He'll probably be 680 plus my world.
He was the butt of every single joke in the 66 group chats and everything. You guys are super toxic, by the way, but when yourselves,
They haven't been toxic in like a year, man. We need to bring that back.
It's because
I'm
the
gonna
main.
to bring it back, man. I'm coming 66.
It's
Let's
because the
go.
main
Bring
guy
back
who
the
was
toxicity.
toxic, he didn't turn up to the nationals, and he was like, "There's no point anymore." It was just like we're talking between ourselves when the guy just runs away from competition.
Oh, that's been.
Yeah.
Despin.
Yeah, he didn't turn up to any of the nationals, so I was like, fair enough. What do you want me to do? Just turn up.
I have a feeling. Oh, I thought you went too heavy for your Manchester Open bench. I thought maybe he got into your head with his bullshit. But
No, when
I
you
don't.
don't, you know what it is? When you don't have competition and you're trying to reach certain numbers, you have to push. Like, you can't just think about. If I had somebody close by, like I think the second person was it Penny or Probia, I think came second, and they
Probably.
were.
I don't remember.
Yeah, one of them came second because and they weren't anywhere near. So I was like, I have to try hit 650 total in it. So I needed a bigger bench. So like, let's just go third attempt on opener.
Well, you pressed 130 cents, so.
Oh yeah, my bench has improved. I wouldn't say it's gone better. I'd say like technically it's improved a lot more.
That's good.
So hopefully this block in 2 weeks I can hit a bit more.
That's
But
very
my
promising.
squad will be something nice. It'll probably be Saber, what's your 1 rep max
What squat
in our competition?
in competition?
Yeah.
The August one was 230, but in the gym since I've done 242 for a double.
Cool. I might hit 230 for 5.
That's
Oh.
cool. Bro.
Literally just gonna go for 230 for 5, even if I warm up move shit.
That's cool, but we still have Joey reach with that GB singlet, and you're still in Birmingham.
In his
But it's
car.
fine, man. It's fine, man. I got 2 national titles. That's what matters.
Which I've got both, bro.
Have you got 2 national titles?
Yeah. I've got
Two?
3. I've got 3, 2 junior titles and 1 open.
A junior don't count, man.
Yeah, but I already had the
Yeah.
open records as a junior as well, though.
Sorry,
In a
about
weight class.
these lighter lifters talk a lot of shit. You should move down to
Wait,
I got a European
one
title
point
as well, man.
I'm at a point in my life where I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm not
As
even
we just
competitive.
said.
He's
Life
ready to
is good.
accept the OG title and everything.
You know what it is? Life is
Wait.
good, bro. I don't have to compete with nobody like on a serious level. Like I
Hoping
have
to
my
become M1, right? Masters lifter.
and that's it. I
3 years.
say that again.
Oh, come
How
on.
many
he's
years left
only
in
1
Masters
year.
lifter?
Masters lifter with pensions. 2-3 years, man.
No,
Are
you older
I
than Joey and Espen? Are you older than them lot?
no, I think I'm lucky. I'm like maybe a year or 2 younger than them.
Oh, then you're not that old.
Espin is what, 35?
I have no idea. He's 87, 90, 87. Is he 1987 this year? I can't remember.
I have no idea. He's
I'm-
mid to low
I
30s.
think Joey is 1991.
Yeah, so I think I might be the same age as Joey, but I'm younger than Espin.
Yeah, Espen is in the 80s. I don't know when though.
Doesn't matter.
Something.
Guy's
We-
built like a crackhead. I hope he doesn't watch this. Actually, no, I don't care.
They 100% will.
Tell him to watch it and come to
Soundbites
PM.
and tags. They're coming.
I'm gonna when this comes out, I'm gonna screen record it and tag him, make sure he listens to it. Or
That's
even
fine.
send it to our group chat. We'll be like,
Wait.
yeah, listen to this.
On his ankle. I'll fucking break it.
You cut off. We didn't hear what you said.
No, I said I'll dash a kilo play on his ankle if I see him. It's fine.
He lives close to you, innit?
No, guy lives in south of the river. Nobody wants to live there, bro.
Oh, bloody hell.
It's like Birmingham, but on the other side of London.
Birmingham's better than Luton, though. Luton's like a recycling center or something, isn't it?
I can't disagree with that.
I'll be honest. When I see Ishtyaq's story of him walking, I'm like, damn, I wouldn't want to live there.
But
Yeah,
it's the ends.
trying to
Man.
get
I live
that.
in the ends.
I can't
Especially in
say
the
anything. I
night,
don't
I'll always see a
fancy
crackhead. I'll always see a crackhead somewhere in the ends. And I'm doing my walks in the
I
night.
kid you not, like in my DMs, like there are verbatim these words. I live in the ghetto of the greater London area. It's so funny.
Saber don't live in the ghetto. You don't live in
No,
the
this is
ghetto.
from Ishtyaq. This is purely from Ishtyaq.
Oh.
I think the last time I saw an alcoholic, I had to travel like 6 miles away from home.
Well, you're a posh boy now, innit?
No, I mean where I live it's nice and quiet. It's the suburbs. Just ducks and ponds and
Where's the closest PFC for you?
the closest what, sorry?
PFC. That's how you know how far you are in it.
There's actually one like down the road, like 10 minutes.
The fried chicken
like a
place that
Bengali
you
one.
guys use as like a metric, like proximity to like a PFC means like you're in this affluent of a neighborhood. Is that how you guys go about it?
Well, that's how
Yeah.
I check anyway.
It's like those American style, you know, like Dixie.
Oh, that's so funny.
Not the Bengali ones. But no, I mean I'm 6 stops away from Liverpool Street, so the finance district. So it's where I live. It's close to gym, close, like easy access to work. And it's quiet. It's a perfect sort of environment for my daughters. And that's what that matters.
Do you work middle office? Do you work front office? I feel like you're at a stage in your life where you're just happy with back office and you don't want any of the action, but I'm just curious, like, what do you do?
No, so I mean, I would say I'm more back office than middle office. So I'm basically a business advisor to the bank.
Okay.
And yeah. So I'm like back middle because I do advisory stuff, which is like quite could be on like day-to-day business stuff. So literally you could have a client, you could literally have money at the fingertips, but you might need my advice, and that's where I'll roll in and
Okay. So you're like, okay, check these metrics off, and then like you can underwrite this much or whatever.
Yeah, but not underwriter, that's insurance, but I'm in banking, yeah. But yeah.
I have no clue what you guys do, honestly. Like, you're probably just giving people loans and saying like, hey, you know what? Like, you got to pay us like this much interest or whatever.
No, so I'm in private banking. So it's a whole different ballgame. Just to give you an idea, we wouldn't even look at you unless you've got 5 million liquid.
Oh,
Just
you're dealing with the ultra high net worth individuals or whatever.
He chills around with Alan Sugar.
But,
Think of it like that.
But it's mixed with investment banking. So like we make products in the investment side and we bring it into the private side and you know, advertise. It's a whole different ball game. We can take that offline. These guys won't be.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super curious. We'll talk more. Rafi, we've cut you off like 4 times. Please go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, you guys are like very established powerlifters in the UK, right? At what point in your training careers did you guys realize like, okay, I'm pretty good in the UK, or I'm gonna be very competitive at the world level? Like, what was that turning point in your training? Like when you realized, okay, I can be at that level. Kibria, why don't you?
I would say in 2019 when I actually learned about programming, because before that I was maxing out every day, and in 2019 I think I found Condito 6-week program. I'm sure all of you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, I think. Have you tried that Ishtyaq and Saber? The Condito 6-week
Yeah. I
program?
tried that. It was that's the program I ran for my first powerlifting meet.
Oh, same. I did the same one as well. So that's the one I found. And no, so that was in 2018. Sorry, yeah, I found that. And I was like, oh, I don't need to max out every day. Like, it's not even that hard to get strong. And every time I kept running it back, it was like 10 kg more, 10 kg more. And I was thinking, that's it. Eventually, I'm going to be squatting like 300 kg or something. But it doesn't work like that. But I think that's when I realized like there's more to training than just training. You have to think about how to approach training on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And that's when I thought, you know what, I can do this. It's not that hard.
Yeah, so I'll kind of break it down into like when I think I'd be the best in the UK, and then like where I think I get at the world level. So in the UK, I kind of started off powerlifting in the competitive sense straight away, just because like my first meet, the reason I did that is because I wanted to take the British deadlift record, which obviously I found out afterwards I couldn't do that in a local meet, but yeah. So after that we had COVID. I mean, I did my meet right before COVID, 29th of February. COVID lockdown happened like 2 weeks afterwards. So then we had like 3 months off before I could train again when I bought a home gym. I think the point I realized that I could be the best in the UK is when before our second lockdown, I did like what's called like an SBD max out day where I hit like 515. I think it was 510 or 515, I forgot, which at the time was above the junior and open British record total. Obviously COVID happened again, and then at the time I was trying to do that at the junior nationals, but that got cancelled, so I had to wait like a year afterwards. And then the junior nationals 2021, I did 546.5, which took every record in juniors and open except for the squat, which obviously you guys know. That's why I probably did. But yeah, at that point I knew like I could get to the
Who has
world
the
level.
squat record after?
Nah, bro, it's a sub-junior, man. 200.5. He's 66 now. Vincent Choi. I think his squat is the same as his
Is that the guy? Is that the guy with the huge bench?
No, he can only squat. He's not good at benching or deadlift.
No. Because I know there's this 18-year-old that took Joey's bench record recently at 66 bucks.
Yeah, it's
He
not him.
benched 157. I think his name Vincent as well.
This is the Asian guy. I don't know who the other guy
Oh.
that took Joey's record. But yeah. So obviously I won that junior nationals. I knew at that point I could be competitive at the world's level. And then after I did my first junior worlds, that was the first time where I really experienced a loss. That's where like I finished 6th. Because before that I'd finished 1st and everything, because I never actually really had competition. My first junior nationals, there was one other guy, but he was like 100 kilos behind. So yeah, that was the first time. And then that's when like I really decided to make changes to my training, because obviously I was training for powerlifting, but what I was doing at the time wasn't really optimal, because I would always, for some reason, obviously I know why now, but I would always get weaker into a meet because I had the what's called the OG taper model, you know, where you do the
pull back a ton of volume and
Yeah, yeah.
intensity, pull everything back and just
Yeah.
super compensation effect to kick.
And then that never worked because obviously I'm 59. I need to keep playing though for a long time afterwards. And then basically my coach at the time, I dropped him because I knew something was wrong. Then I got with another coach at GB, and then I won the Open Nationals there, where after a year of stagnation, I made progress again. And then see, once I got with Sean, then with him, I kind of like finally got clicked with my score as well. So I think like, yeah, my goals now is see podium at Worlds, and then hopefully inshallah in the future maybe become world champion. But yeah, podium this year. So I'd say the point I realized I could be competitive at the Worlds level in terms of that podium and up was probably last year when I got with Sean. Let's see.
A quick question for you. Sorry, go on, Saber.
Yeah,
I'll ask you guys a question. I'll ask you the question after, Saber. Don't want to interrupt him. He might forget what he wanted to say. He got to that age, isn't it?
Ask the question. If it's fresh for Ishtyaq, ask it.
No, it's not for Ishtyaq. It's for the other two. But it's about Bangladesh powerlifting. But yeah, I can ask about after.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's like I said, it's a different game. I don't think competitively. It's more. I'd say maybe last year. I'd say when I came 3rd in nationals. That's when I thought to myself, I'm actually pretty good at this. I am technically at a high standard. So I should keep pushing it, and you know, it's one of the reasons why I went with Sean as well. You know, as you guys know, I was coach hunting for a couple of months, I'd say, before I made the switch. Looked at loads of people, and then decided to go with Sean. But yeah, I think last year nationals, you know, like I said, leading up to pre-COVID, I didn't really care about powerlifting like that. It was, you know, I used to compete and stuff because my friends used to compete, because I'd find it boring to speculate. So if my friends are competing and I was traveling with them, I'd be like, I'll just compete with you guys. Just have fun. We'll just compete.
Right.
That's how it was, and I enjoyed it. It was good. But last year, you know, I really tried for nationals. But the night before was crazy. I took the day off work. I booked a coach for like 4 p.m. to take me to Nottingham. That's where we were competing. It was like a 4-hour drive. My coach got cancelled. And I was at the bus station till like from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. because they kept cancelling the coaches. 3 a.m. I went home thinking I'm not gonna make it. Fuck it. I'm gonna go eat KFC in the morning. And my friend Abdullah just turned up at my house at like 9. So I slept for like 3 hours that night. I got home about 3 p.m., 3:30ish, slept till about 6, 7. My daughter woke me up. Abdullah turns up at my house. He drove me there just 10 minutes before they closed weigh-in. Literally, so I turned up to nationals half asleep, disheveled, and you know, as we were competing, I was like, squats finished, I'm 8th. Bench finished, I'm still like 7th or something. By second attempt deadlift, I was 6th. and then I pulled into the third. Literally one pull took me all the way to the podium. And yeah, on the way back home, I guess I was just reflecting on how crazy the day was leading into nationals, and I thought if I could do that with the type of evening that I've just had, imagine like having a good day,
Yeah.
a good lead up. And I thought, okay, I'm pretty good. Obviously, leading up to all the other years of powerlifting, it was good. I enjoyed it. But I never thought about it in the manner like these guys are, like really competitively. But even now, like I don't have like powerlifting goals per se. It's just like whatever happens will be organic. I still give it my all, and I have one of the best coaches in the world. So whatever comes will come. My goals are more life related. I think I'm at that point in my life where I plan things outside, and then the powerlifting comes with, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Kibria, you were about to ask us something.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like with us, especially at 60, 59, at national, even though there's loads of people in our weight classes, not really anybody does, no one really turns up. How is it for Bangladesh powerlifting? Is national busy? Do you guys get a lot of people?
So I'm gonna let Rafa go first because he's gone to way more nationals events and he's won way more nationals events than I could dream of. So go ahead, Rafa. You talk first. I can talk more about like recent times, I guess.
So I think powerlifting in Bangladesh started in 2018, right? This is very, very new, right? So not a lot of people knew about it. So at the beginning, it was like not competitive at all. But I think recently I see a lot of young people, probably like 16, 17, that are getting into powerlifting. And we're starting to see talents come out, right? So it's getting competitive, but it's still not super competitive, in my opinion. So we don't have those like superstar world level talent. We haven't seen a whole lot of them yet.
We do
I
have
mean, in terms of numbers, like you get a lot of people at each weight class. Like, can you get 2 flights or no?
Oh yeah, no, okay. So I mean, Rafi can talk about this more in depth, but honestly, we'll go weigh in at like 9 in the morning. People don't leave until the next day. That's when the prize giving ceremony happens. Is like 12:30 in pretty much the morning. It's absurd.
That's not because of there are like more people competing. It's because we haven't fully mastered the art of time management.
Right. We pretty much only live on a single platform. Bangladeshi's run on Bangladeshi Standard Time, which is 3 hours late. I mean, it's a plethora of things, but overall, like nationals is pretty much like a 15-hour ordeal. I will say that like in terms of weight classes, if you're curious, like where we tend to see the most amount of competition, my understanding is like the heavier weight classes don't see much competition. Like the 93s, the 105s, those are I think we have a couple 105s and like maybe 1 or 2 dudes that are like 120 plus or something, but we don't really have a 120 plus or 120 weight class. 105, I think that is winning like by like 150 kilos every single year, right? It's absurd. 93.
Isn't that Arman guy 105 as well?
No, Arman is closer to 130, I want to say, in body weight. 130 to 135 is where he kind of hangs out.
Heavy.
Yeah, he's a heavy dude.
I thought he was 105.
I'm hopeful that Arman like can do some recomping at his current body weight, and I don't know, like maybe be a super heavyweight for Bangladesh someday. That'd be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
He's very young. Yeah, he's just finishing up his bachelor's degree and everything. But in terms of competition, I would say like I'd say like 74s probably see the most amount of competition. 83s tend to see some competition. 66s are probably very close. There's a couple guys that are like decent benchers. They're pressing around 140 kilo mark. 74s, myself and Tasin, we were going head to head. We were fairly close. Yeah, I'd say in terms of like seeing like really competitive, like 3-4 people that could all shoot for gold. Probably around the middleweight classes, like 66 to 80.
66, 74, 83. These three are more competitive.
In GLP, who's the strongest in Bangladesh? Is it the Aditya guy?
Yeah, yep. That hopefully changes this December. I would love to think that I'm in range of taking that from him, but yeah, as far as yeah, I mean that's the entire reason I want to go and compete. Is like I think Dasin, myself, and Aditya Ryan, the kid that actually won Sub Junior Asian Championship, he won that title back, I think, in 2022. He's also coming in. I was coaching him for a little bit. He's coming in as well. So it's going to be like I think it's going to be a little bit of a dogfight. And it's not going to be quite as easy for Aditya, which is exciting, I think. But yeah, GLP-wise, we're looking at like 92, 93 or so.
Yeah, I started following it recently because I have a lot of people that follow me from Bangladesh. I didn't even know. I have people that DM me here and there asking me for tips. I remember there's a guy, I can't remember his name. He's a 93 kg lifter. I think, I don't want to say his name just in case I say it wrong or something. But he DM me because he had some lockout issues on deadlift.
Okay.
So I sent him a voice note in Bengali. And he goes, bro, just say it in English because he did not understand what I said. No, I tried my best to help you, man. So I did end up saying it in English. I don't think he understood fully because there's certain things that you can say in English that it's hard for someone to understand. So eventually, I hope he understood what I said. But I realized there's a lot of people in Bangladesh starting to pick up now. But I never see anybody from Sylhet pick up powerlifting or anything. I've been trying to find someone from Sylhet, but haven't found anyone.
It's because we don't have except few major cities in Bangladesh, we don't have a lot of good gyms outside, right? So Sylhet, I'd say
Sylhet has
Borishal.
a really good one. Well, when I say really good one, it's like a commercial gym. Like my mate went, I think, a couple of years ago, and he sent me a video of it, and it was quite
It's just
good,
just
like
one,
high spec.
right?
But that's it, right? Like you just had the one spot for probably like 80 people that are interested in the sport in Sylhet.
Yeah.
It's a big place, Bangladesh. Like even a small town is like 1 million people, right? And with all that said, like even then, like most of these gyms, even if they have all the resources, are gonna say like, hey, you know what? We have a bank downstairs. You can't deadlift in here, or you're gonna have to like let down your deadlift like it's an RDL or something. Like put it down like it's a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, are you really being welcoming to powerlifters in that case, right? Like, you're not really providing that kind of a facility and the resources.
Imagine Ishtyaq trying to PR his deadlift down there.
Oh, he's screaming my head off immediately. Like, he doesn't even get to attempt it. Bunk alarm gets set off and everything. Like, it's Planet Fitness. It's absurd.
So, do you guys have any like powerlifting? Do you guys have any powerlifting gym in Dhaka, like Elico or Rogue or Calibrated Place? None of that.
No.
In terms of powerlifting gym, we have powerlifting friendly gyms. There's a couple gyms I can think of right off the top of my head. There's Metal Cave, there's Max Burn. They even have calibrated plates these days, right? Like, and we've got like decent like Hansu power bars and all of that. But in terms of like, okay, do we have even a single belt squat machine in the entire country? No, we really don't. Like, we don't have a lot of different equipment.
But do you know when like national Bangladeshi lifter go to like Asian Championship or World Championship? I don't know if anybody went world, but if you know when you go to Asian Championship, do you not find it much harder because you've trained in certain equipment, certain environment, but then going onto a platform where it's much more like strict? Does it make it harder, or do you find it you must find it a lot more harder than we would?
So there are like two sides. So essentially, a lot of people train in like harsher environments, like the bars wouldn't have good knurlings, right? And then once you get to use a bar that has like really good knurling, like grip is never a problem, so they can truly express, truly exert force, right? So there's that. But a lot of people you'll see from Bangladesh would deadlift from mats because the gym owners let them use the deadlift platform itself, right? So that height difference, like when they get to an actual competition, like there's the disparity of their training numbers versus their competition numbers, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes both ways.
Yeah, in Bangladesh competition, is it like Rogue, Elico, or ER, or any of those equipment, or is it just a random random wooden bench from the school or something?
Bro, our benches move laterally, right? Like, I think you're dreaming up here, man. Like, we're down here.
No way, man. See, I sometimes think like we're so lucky that we have we have access to all this stuff. Like sometimes I complain about my gym not being that great, but then I think to myself, at least I got this here because I seen this one Indian guy on a YouTube video, and he was doing a competition. And when I say their bench was so bad, and I was like, how are you benching on this? And that was the national competition, but that was a few years ago. I think Indian powerlifting is going up and up.
Definitely.
So they must be getting better. Yeah, like there's a guy, Aaron, I think.
Even at a state level, like most Indian, like meets, you'll see that they have their own, like, they have like homemade killer plates. Like they have like calibrated plates that they have that are made in India. Like the ones we have in Bangladesh right now, we don't have any Rogues, we don't have any Leicos. We have something called Challenge, and that's actually brought in directly from India.
Okay.
And that's what we use at nationals. Like we don't actually have any of the like name brands or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand. Like we're still building very much. Like imagine like British powerlifting before SPD was a thing. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. So let me tell you a funny story.
Go on.
Good. You right?
No, it's fine. You carry on. I was gonna walk for no reason.
There was one nationals, I think, like 1 week before the actual competition. The main organizing guy contacted me like, Rafi, we need a power rack. We don't have a power rack, and we don't have time to import it. We don't have the time nor the money to import it from somewhere, right?
Literally a week out.
Yeah, or like a combo rack. I'm like, yeah, I can give it a shot. And then I knew some suppliers because I used to work for a pharmaceutical, and then I knew a lot of like machine shops, right? So I contacted this guy, and then he made the entire thing. And then like we were thinking of ways to how to make like a padding for a bench, right? And do you know what the solution they found out? So do you know what a CNG is?
Yeah, the taxi.
Like an auto
taxi
rickshaw.
Yeah.
For all you people that have
we
never been
used
about
a CNG seat as the bench pad, right? And then that's how we got our first combo rack. And then it was that combo rack was probably used for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lifted on that. I hated it. I love you for doing what you did, Paya, but I absolutely hated it. I unracked my bench from here, there, and then brought it out. It was absurd.
Was it one rack high for everyone?
Oh no. It was changeable. Like it was exactly everything you'd expect a good combo rack to be, because Rafi Paya was in charge of making sure that we were meeting IPF level specifications, and he was doing the requirements gathering, because for context, he's a mechanical engineer by trade / industrial engineering. So he kind of knew how to help build that. But yeah, like for example, the cups for bench are just like, they were way too high. I got a handoff for my third bench. I'd never gotten a handoff ever in training. I got a handoff, and the guy pretty much pulled it. One arm came out, the other arm came out after, and then I had to press my third bench. It was absurd.
Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Now, all this makes me think is, the gym Saber trains at, it's just full of princesses. They complain about the littlest thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, we didn't get the illegal bar today or not. And I'm thinking, look at people in Bangladesh, India, they're training in the most uncomfortable conditions possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a learning curve. I think, like, if anything, like, it makes some of our Bangladeshi people like look, like, all three of you are Bangladeshi by ethnicity, right? Like, I don't know if you have any like Indian or Pakistani in you. Like, you guys are pure ethnicity.
No, all Bengali.
Yeah, full Bengali. Unless my DNA test says something otherwise. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but overall, like, my understanding is most Bangladeshis, like, it doesn't really matter what our circumstances look like. We are, like, a lot of us have that dog in us. Like, a lot of us are extremely competitive. You start to see the slightest bit of progress, and you're like, you know what? Like, I can do better, or I can compete against, like, I don't care what the circumstances are or what my opponents are putting up. Like, I'm still capable. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's the fact that we've always had to be the underdog, whether like by genetics or as a country or by currency value, whatever you want to look at, right? Like whatever metric you use, Bangladeshis are generally underdogs. We're not the tallest, we're not the largest, like whatever you want to look at. And still, like, we like to think that we're capable. So I think it has a little bit to do with the mentality. That's what I was saying, Kibria, is that, like, at the end of the day, like, you can give us the worst of circumstances and situations. All of us are still, there's a lot of grit in the average Bangladeshi, I would like to think.
Not British Bangladeshi.
No?
They're all soft, man. They're all soft.
Well, that's okay. The three of you are going to be really good examples and lead the way. I'm not going to take too much more of your time. I know I promised to let you guys go within the hour, but what I'm going to ask, and I want to know, mostly because, like, this is the meat and potatoes of this entire podcast. I want to know, next meet. Ishtyaq, I would like you to go first because the other two might need to think a little bit about if they don't have answers readily available. But next meet, I would love to understand next 1 to 2 meets, what are your kind of goals that you're reaching for? And it doesn't have to be just numbers related. I'm just trying to understand, maybe some people might want to go for their first 9-for-9 meet or something like that, or pull a world record. It doesn't really matter what you're in the rankings, right? Like, I'm just curious, next meet, what's proximity to it? What are we trying to aim for? Because we kind of started this storytelling, and the narrative here was, okay, we started with these numbers about X years ago, right? And my squat, bench, deadlift for like XYZ. So I want to know, like, where are we at today and what are we looking forward to?
Yeah, so for me, I'll start off with my next meet is IPF Worlds, so I'm gonna compete on June 15th, so 5 weeks from now. That's my goal for that. Obviously, the main goal is to podium on that, because obviously this year is a qualifying year for World Games, which happens once every 4 years, and World Games is the first time it's gonna be raw. So getting on the podium for that will qualify me for World Games in China next year. So that's the main reason I actually stuck around to 59 for another year. I think I have a good shot of that. And yeah, in terms of, that's the main goal. The second one is the deadlift world record, but obviously podium matters more to me than the world record on the deadlift. And then total wise, we'll see often. If I hit what I want next week for my total, then I think probably 620, 630 is actually feasible for worlds. So yeah, that's my goals for next meet. Then the meet off that would be British Nationals at the end of the year. I plan to do that at 66, so finally move up a weight class, because with World Games, they're actually combining in like 59, 66,
Right.
74s, 83s, whatever. So I can weigh as a 66 at World Games, even if I qualify as 59. So that's the reason I stuck around. So yeah, after Worlds, that'll be my final meet at 59. Then I'd go to Nationals 66. Once the goal day is to win, I'm gonna have to go against Kibria. That'd be fun. And then a few of the other 66s as well. And then yeah, depending on if I qualify for World Games, the next meet after, or if I win Nationals, next meets after that would be Worlds and World Games. But yeah, the two immediate meets for me is Worlds and Worlds this year, and then Nationals.
So the breakdown for 620 to 630, my understanding is we're looking at 200 to 205 for your squat.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about like bench and deadlift. My understanding is deadlift we're looking at around 275 to 280. If everything goes well, and we're shooting for that world record of 275 and a half, 276 or so. But I'm assuming 275 to 280 is kind of your deadlift range.
Yeah.
Is that about accurate?
Yeah, and then bench 142 and a half to 145.
Okay.
Bench I'll probably just limit to 145. Deadlift, the world record, honestly, I'm not the biggest deadlifter. The biggest deadlifter is gonna be Louis. He's a guy from New Zealand, but he's gonna compete in the morning session. So we'll see if he pulls it out of the ballpark or not. Because I think he can go up to 290, but if he doesn't really push it, then yeah, be in the ballpark.
Is that the guy? I think he has a bit of a soft lockout in it. Or...
So I think his last meet, he hit 2 deadlifts, 275.5. The reason why he only got 2 deadlifts is because of grip issues. And then the previous meet for that was Worlds. I forgot what it was. It wasn't soft lockout. It was either grip again or strength. But yeah, he hasn't gone 3 for 3 in deadlifts in ages. So, but he's going to compete in the morning, so obviously I'll know after that if it's in the wheelhouse. But even if it is, there's going to be like 3 other guys I have to compete for the world record with. Obviously, the world champion.
With GB coaches, they don't always let you just pull the world record, and they want you to like position in a certain place and whatnot.
Yeah, so that's the thing I'm saying. Like, third is the main goal, and then
that's the number one priority. World record is number 2.
Yeah.
Kibria, if you have an answer ready, otherwise we can go straight to Saber because I feel like
let Saber talk. I feel I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, just trying to understand what you were saying with all that waffle. Just make sure there's subtitles, please, for the people who don't understand Kibria's Birmingham accent. No, so for me, but right now, look, I've got 2 babies at home. So for me right now, it's my coach is guiding me with regards to, when to compete and so on. I think he's waiting to see a turn in training. Training's going well, obviously, but I think he's still waiting to see a bit more before he gives me the go ahead to compete. It could be end of this year. I might do a small meet towards the end of the year just to do something, or it could be from 2025. And with regards to weight class, it would depend as well. Because the thing is, when I lean out, I'm closer to 74. But right now, I'm just walking around sort of high 70s, low 80s. It goes up and down. It just depends on how stressed I am. But yeah, so all of that will just depend. Once I'm in shape, if I've managed to get jacked and I can lean out closer to 80, then I might just become an 83. If I drop down below 78, then obviously back to 74.
Yeah.
And during the competition, I guess total wise, I'd be aiming to at least hit 700 on the platform first, just to kind of just get it there, tick that box.
Yeah.
700, and then it's just whatever from there. If I do it as an 83, I'd like to see more. But yeah, for me right now, it's just analyzing data.
Yeah.
I'm not deciding anything yet. You know, my training is very much up and down. It's overall it's going good.
Okay.
But it is up and down. It's just life right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like you're because of all of your externals, you're kind of struggling to find like you still have like big picture wise, you still have momentum, you have progress, but it's difficult consistently that like, you know what, every single primary bench day is showing up as strong as we want it to and we kind of expect it to. And so that consistency and momentum is just kind of like it ebbs and flows kind of, I'm assuming within the micro.
Yeah, so exactly that. It's there's expectations and it's once we can clearly see that, okay, we are now consistently hitting those expectations. Good. We can now slowly start looking into compete.
Prep and
all right.
that. Yeah.
Quite volatile. So it's like, let's just stay the course. The fact that you're going into the gym and giving it your all, it's like you said, it's that grit thing. Regardless of my externals, I still go to the gym, even when it's 9, 10 p.m., you know, and I still train like I have no externals. Like when I'm in the gym, I push like crazy. So it's just for now, it's just keep going, keep at it, manage the fatigue. And then when things get easier at home, and then we should be able to see training push up, and then that'll be a good indication it's time to compete.
How like sensitive are you to like the four of us trying to egg you on to compete by like at least like January, February of next year? I just want to
make sure you turn up to national, Saber, because it's right next to my house.
You go.
You got QT already in it.
Yeah, I don't need to do any meets before nationals. I qualified in August. My total.
Do national?
For me,
you qualified for the 83s as well, innit?
I have, yeah. I've got my options open, so I'm not too stressed. With regards to peer pressure, no, I'm fairly comfortable with where I'm at, and
you're not fun. Look, Kibria has
before.
space for you in his home. His backseat is empty. You can sleep there the night before. You can show up.
My boot's quite big, and I got an estate.
There you go.
Honestly, like I would love to compete in nationals. So I'm really hoping things get easier at home, like calm down at home, and so I can push training. Because training's been going well, and if I have to come in as an 83 just to compete, I'll do it. I don't care about weight classes anymore. I'm in a position where, as you said, you know, I should be an 83, and I'm accepting that. And I think one of the mistakes I made very early in my career was really sticking to a weight class. I should have just eaten, grown, and just taken whatever came to with regards to weight classes. So now I'm doing exactly that. I mean, like I said, when I lean out, I'm closer to 77, 78. But if I can achieve like a bit of a growth and lean out closer to 79, 80, then I'll happily go up. So
I'm so happy you're saying this. Saber, please, for the audience, tell us how tall you are.
So I am 5'9", 5'10", depending on the scale I stand on.
We're gonna pretend you're 5'9". Even though I'll tell 5'11".
Wait, how are you 5'9", man?
I am 5'9", sure, bro.
You're like 5'8" or something,
exaggerating?
man. You're
You're
like
not
5'8",
5'9",
5'7".
Saber.
No way you're
I was
5'9".
Look,
thinking for a
he's a
second,
banker. He has like wedges in his.
I stood on the scale and the receipt came out saying 5'9".
You know what?
You gotta show us that
Hey,
receipt,
listen,
man.
I got a photo of me and Saber next to each other. I'm 5'7", and he's only a tiny bit taller than me.
He's probably like 5'8". That's what I'm
He's
talking about.
5'8" at a stretch.
I've checked. No, legit, I've checked. I'm 5'9". No,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
trolling.
5'9" with your shoes on, man.
I talk a lot of shit. I'm not trolling this time. I'm actually 5'9". But no, with regards to, since I've had my children, my body weight's just naturally gone up.
Yeah.
But like I'm not in a like super lean state like I usually am.
Right. So for everyone tuning in, like I just really want to say, like, please, I'm the cow approach on like Deco, like Saber Pai is 5'9". We have 5'9s that are like 74 kilos. Like, what the hell is going on? We have 5'9s that are 66. This makes no sense. Like, Saber Pai is clearly aware, right? Like he needs no more convincing. Like Saber Pai knows he belongs in the 83s minimum, right? Like he's not the most jacked man in the world. Saber Pai, we love you. This is not me saying that like you're not jacked, you don't have any muscle mass. But Saber Pai like he's a strong dude. He's pulling 300 kilos. He's benching 160. He's squatting like 240 plus for reps. This is a 5'9" man at 74 saying that like I am just too damn light and too skinny, right? Like he needs to pack some more mass on, and he is not by any means like he's not even a half a standard deviation away from the average Bangladeshi build. Right? Like, so what freaking excuse do we have to say that like the average 83 height is going to be 5'10" in Bangladesh? It makes no sense to me. We really need to start eating, and we really need to start taking our accessories seriously. I think we need to start training a little bit more like bodybuilders, start pushing those accessories closer to failure, and just, yeah, like eat a little bit more food, like carbs, proteins, just ramp up those damn calories. Okay.
In Bangladesh, do people do lifters cook their own food, or are they still rely on their parents?
Whatever mom cooks.
That makes a big issue, and then it's like how you meant to control your diet.
Yeah.
Like when I was at my mom's house, I don't think my diet was great. Whereas once I moved into my own house, I'm able to literally eat whatever I want.
I think Ishtyaq found that like sweet spot because he's just shorter and doesn't eat as much food, so he can eat like a regular person, and that's just sufficient for him.
He has rice and curry and a protein shake in it,
and a protein shake, yeah, or like I don't know what the hell he was eating during Ramadan. He was probably eating like like baklava and a protein shake and calling it like a high protein meal.
Yeah, for me, as long as I get the total calories of protein in, doesn't matter how I get it in.
Yeah. And that's all it takes, right? Like, I mean, you're jacked out of your freaking mind, bro. Like, you're a 61 kilo, 62 kilos walking around off season, and you are just absolutely like you've got bigger legs than like some 74s I know. You've definitely got bigger legs than I do. And I walk around 75, 76 kilos. So it makes no sense that like, but right, like Bangladesh don't know, like I'm just like for just one key takeaway from what we've been speaking about for the past 5 minutes or so is খালি একটু প্রোটিনটা enough খাইলে and calories গুলো একটু ঠিক মতন রাখলে, it's really all it takes. Otherwise, just go give it your all when you're doing your accessories in the gym. Maybe someday, like with enough patience and consistency, you can look like Ishtyaq without a shirt on. I don't know how many people have seen you without a shirt on, but we can post a soundbite with one of
Instagram
in my DM. But yeah, we'll blow up your Instagram and everything. We'll shout you out, and yeah, like I mean, physique wise, like I don't think any of us are really where we should be, right? Like we don't even have that baseline for most Bangladeshis, and that's something that I have a serious amount of like qualm with, and that hurts. Like I think that's a very low-hanging fruit, that like just do your damn accessories, like start pushing your dumbbell presses, start training arms more seriously. Like a little bit of that goes a long freaking way.
I wanted to ask a question, just building on like what is gym culture in general like in Bangladesh? Because over here, like it's obviously powerlifting, I wouldn't say it's like mainstream here, but obviously gym culture itself is massive here. Like even everyone knows at least someone who's a gym bro, and then I'll say nearly everyone I know has been to the gym at least once in their life.
Right. I started lifting in college in 2019. I was 21 years old at the time. I can't really speak much to it. I've been to a few gyms every time I travel back home. My understanding is high level, gym, like being able to work out is a luxury, and it's something that's probably afforded to the top 10% of the entire country. So like the average middle class person isn't really looking towards like lifting because we don't have our basic needs met. So something like lifting is more of a, okay, let me fend for my family first. I'm just trying to survive. I'm not really trying to thrive. And I think lifting kind of falls into that, like, okay, when my survival is met, then I can look at thriving. And I think gym kind of falls into that category in Bangladesh. It's not really looked at as like, you know what, like I'm an average man, like I need to go get big. Those vibes aren't quite there yet. I think we need to progress a lot more as a country and like provide those like basic necessities for the average person before we can say that, you know what, why aren't you at the gym? Rafi, please.
Yeah,
I think you could
it's
build
really not a thing essentially. Yeah, most young people don't go to the gym, right? Powerlifting is like very, very foreign. Like most people would go there to just lose a little bit of weight. Like, so it's just very like all the commercial gyms would have like lots and lots of treadmills, right? That's their selling point, and like maybe one or two power racks, right? If you're lucky. So that's most gyms.
Is there any like big Bangladeshi fitness influencers like YouTubers or on Instagram
No.
or TikTok? No. Do you think that plays a big part of it because there's nobody out there? The culture is not there. You know, like
We don't have a Russell Orhe equivalent. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's spot on. We actually, the previous episode, like we actually spoke to the longest standing powerlifting and strength training coach in Bangladesh. And he was talking about the fact that like, look, like we need one or two athletes who are going to start making content, right? Like, or they're going to start like putting out more videos or like go around to a different gym like every week, like once a day or something, right? Like when maybe your quaternary bench day, just go around and like show people that this is possible, right? Or show people that this is actually something you weren't aware of, but this sport exists and you can do this, right? Like, and that I'm capable of doing this without taking any drugs. The most I take is like whey protein or something, right? Like, and I drink coffee. I'm a regular person just like you.
But do you take creatine though?
No, we're not on steroids. Come on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Please.
That's just Ishtyaq.
We don't condone that.
I take steroids, man, creatine.
Yeah.
I got tested for it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get tested year round now. That's exciting. But yeah, overall, like it's a luxury. It is definitely not like a basic thing that the average person can, both in terms of like time capacity.
Even in Dhaka, like not all areas would have access to good gyms.
Yeah.
Right. I know I coach a few people who are like there aren't any good powerlifting friendly gym like nearby. So like they have to just, commute quite a bit and then plan their day because they're doing a full-time job, right? So it's just, and that's like,
what about like celebrities? Where do they train? Like, do they train at like a high-end, expensive gyms, or do they just have their own gym? Like Shakib Al Hassan and all them guys, or do they just have their own gym?
cricketers do have their own training facility, but let's say celebrities like let's say famous YouTubers or like a media guy, right? They would probably go to high-end gyms, and I'd say, yeah, maybe a few in like Dhanmondi, Gulshan, those areas, right?
Yeah, we have a couple like super high-end gyms where like it's celebrities and hot girls and all those people are going in there and like that's the vibe there. Like it's just like, oh, like models only, and then maybe like some 45-year-old man who's trying to cheat on his wife or whatever. But like that's the vibes there. Like it's just like, hey, pay me like $200 a month to come in here and stare at these girls in yoga pants. Like that's the vibes. I am not a fan of that at all. I like my like regular strength training facilities, the Max Burns, the Metal Caves. Like I think they're a lot more, it's the right environment, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of lifters. No one's really elite, right? Like no one's going to be the Kibria Ali squatter in the next couple of years. No one's going to be the Ishtyaq Nabi like total specialist, right? Like we don't have that just yet. It's coming, but overall, like I think Metal Cave, Max Burn, like we have a couple gyms similar to these guys that like you have more athletes coming in that are of the like competitive mindset. Like, you know what, like I may not be up there, but I want to be like, and I'm trying my very best, and I'm here to learn, and I'm teachable, and it's not just like an ego-driven thing for me at this moment in time. I'm just happy to be here. It's a lot of Saber vibes. And I think that's what's probably going to be like propelling the progress within the Bangladeshi space overall, I think.
That's good though. As long as it's growing, that's what you want to see, because last thing you want to see is like, this year you had like a lot of people, 200 people turn up to nationals. Next year it's half to 100 people.
Oh no,
As long as it's
been a
growing,
constant trend up.
that's the main important thing.
Right.
Because say in 10 years time, it'll probably be where British powerlifting is, and 10 years later, probably catch up to the rest of the world as well.
Oh no, the US is just out of touch. That's impossible. Yeah, no one's touching the US, but yeah, maybe the rest of the world.
Yeah, but it's like in general in other sports as well, like cricket, for example. Because I watch cricket, Bangladesh is up there, but when they go to world, they don't do that well. I don't know if that's to do with the facility and everything as well.
It's just the entire sports culture is just,
right,
not encouraged.
Don't people take it serious? Like, like for example, in this country, like football, kids, their parents take them to football. They're like, oh, you have to play football. You have to do it. They take them to academies and stuff. In Bangladesh, in sports, is not a big thing.
The average person's just trying to survive, right? Like no one's got like a nice cushy apartment like Saber with a 10-minute commute. Like that's just not a thing for most people. Like most people are living out of their car like you, and that's just
most parents discourage sports.
Yeah,
like they get discouraged. Like, do not train, do not go to the gym.
You're gonna go
study hard.
You're never gonna grow any taller. You're only 17 years old. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, look at Ishtyaq. That's what happened to him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I started training at 16 and never grew again.
That's why he stopped growing.
But yeah, man, I want, whenever, if I do go Bangladesh, like I want to take my children to Bangladesh. I want them to see it, because I haven't been in 15 years, so it's gonna be totally different. But I want my children to go and see it, and hopefully when I do come down, I'll probably come down Dhaka and see you guys and try train there. Like I want to go maybe next year sometime.
Tell the two of us, like, let us know anytime either any of the three of you are going to Bangladesh. Like, we will literally line up our travel plans just to like show you guys around and like hang out with you and train with you and all that. We would love to make that happen. I know I've spoken to Saber about this a little bit, but he seems unsure about whether he's going to the US or Bangladesh at this point. So I don't really know what's going on with him. But Saber, whenever you travel to either country, please let me know. I would love to make sure that my travel plans align with yours. One quick thing I want to talk about is Saber, we touched on his, I guess, like everyday life, right? Ishtyaq, I know you're a data engineer, and my guess is Kibria, you're in real estate, probably. I'm not entirely.
I've left.
Okay. So I would love to hear a little bit about your day-to-day, and then I promise to let you boys go.
So at the moment, I drive for Uber, so I'm self-employed. So I literally can work whenever I want.
Oh yeah.
But I always have the same routine. So I go to work at 4 a.m, and then I'll come home about 9 o'clock, because my daughter goes to nursery now. So I have to drop her off to nursery. Then I go and train in the morning now. So once I've trained, I'll go to work again, and then I'll go pick her up, and then come home, and then I'm done for the day, basically. So in the evening, I can put them to sleep and whatnot. And if I want to go back out to work, I can go back out to work.
And do you have some, like, private, I guess I'm curious, like, do you have some private clients that are like recurring clients? Yeah. Okay. I imagine that definitely helps like, make it more of a livelihood for you.
Oh, 100%. To be fair, Uber is different here to America. I think in America, the pay is not that great, right?
It's not at all.
No, it's totally different here. It's like you can make a full-time living, but obviously I also do private jobs. So like airport drop-off and things like that, you get that quite regularly. So even if I do a couple of them, that's it. I don't really need to work. Gotcha. So I'm lucky in that sense that I can choose my own hours, work whenever I want.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I find it quite easy to get my training in now.
Hell yeah. So I'm assuming you guys probably share some clients. Like Saber has got his ultra high net worth individuals, and you're probably like giving them recurring rides like to work and back home or something.
No, I avoid anywhere near Saber's end because too much traffic there, man. Honestly, I don't go London. Like if I ever have anything booked for London, unless it's like a Heathrow, Gatwick airports, I don't go into Central. It's just not worth it. You'd just be sitting there for no reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ishtyaq, you're a data engineer. All I know is you probably know a little bit of SQL. I don't know what it is that you do though. Like I'm curious. Like you get to work from home, which I think definitely helps. But please tell us a little more about your day-to-day.
So Yeah, I work as a data engineer, so in the tech field. Obviously, the main things I work with is Python, SQL, and then like cloud service providers. So usually I work with AWS and Azure. Just think of it as like a software engineer, but working specifically for data. That's like this. That's like the simplest way I can do it. But yeah, luckily I don't have too many externals affecting me. So I have a lot of respect for like Kibria and Saber, considering what they're able to do with the externals that they have as well. But yeah, for me, technically it's just a 9 to 5, but that range of time work kind of varies depending on the client. So if the client specifically wants a certain time to work in, I'll adjust for that. But with my current client, it's like they just let me do my work whenever I want. So usually I'll start working afternoon and finish late evening, well, depending how much I have. But yeah, for me, I have a pretty consistent schedule, not many externals. Yeah, that's kind of like my day to day because I don't have to worry about anything else apart from work.
And animes as well. You got to worry about catching up on the animes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's hobbies, isn't it? But yeah.
Saber Bhai, I'm curious, and for Kibria Bhai, you as well, like, do you guys have your partners cook most of your food and most of your meals? Are you doing any cooking yourselves? Like, are they kind of employed, or are they probably like housewives? Like, that's what I would love to know a little bit more about like what your life looks like, but like at home, essentially.
Go on, Saber.
I'll go first. So my wife works for the British Council. They have it's essentially it's linked to the government, but the whole thing is to do with education and culture, and they have bases all around the world. And she works on a global front. She does events for various countries. She's even actually met the Bangladeshi foreign minister who lives somewhere here in North London. Had dinner with her in her house as well. I don't know her name, but she looks like a cat. She's quite scary looking. So yeah, my wife is quite busy. Obviously, right now she's off with the child maternity. But usually that's what she's doing. So she I mean, if I needed to cook, she cooks. But because, I'm trying to improve my weight, trying to recomp higher.
Yeah.
I make a lot of my own food because it's easier for me to then be accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm really trying to recomp at a higher weight, so I have to eat quite meticulously, quite regimented. So I make a lot of my own food, but I'm very simple, I have an air fryer and it literally does everything for me. So the air fryer is like my second wife. And yeah, with my wife, it's
You're allowed
her
to
main is just looking after the children, and just leaves me to it. I think because of my goals, I need to do it myself. So then I can really look at every single item that goes on my plate, calculate, cut everything to exact size. But yeah, usually if I needed to cook something, if I'm having a lazy day, she'll do it. But otherwise, yeah, she works outside of her usual.
Wow, that's crazy. You're a double income and double kids couple. That's crazy. That's a lot. Kibria, I'm curious, like, what's life like for you? I know you said that like you have a little bit more wiggle room because you get to kind of pick and choose your own hours, but like that still means that like you're not working from home. That still means that like you still need a little bit of support when it comes to like your meals. So I'm curious, like, do you kind of have that type of support from your partner, or is it like 50-50 shared? Do you have to cook a lot of your own food? What does that kind of look like?
It all depends on where I am in my prep. So if I'm close to a competition where I have to monitor my weight and everything, then it'll be 100%. I'll make every meal. I'll make it, and I'll pre-make it, to be fair, because I have to take it with me out and whatnot.
Right.
Whereas right now, off season, I'm not really monitoring my weight that much. I monitor my protein. That's it really right now. So my wife, she works part-time, but right now she's on maternity leave anyway. But she'll just cook like rice and curry, and in my house you'll always find rice and curry. So whenever you come to my house, there'll always be rice and curry there. I feel bad sometimes, so I eat the curry. I have to eat the curry. I'm like, you know what? I'll just eat it. But that's when I'm on prep. I'll eat it sometimes. But I'll take like the chicken out, the potato out of it, and put it aside. I won't have the shira, I won't have the fatty bit of it. But in general, I would say I make most of my food. When I say I make most of my food, I mean like chicken breast. That's it really, and a bit of minced meat, keema. That's what. Yeah, I can't cook meat or anything. So just the basic stuff to get my protein in.
Hey, you're not alone. I have a feeling like Ishtyaq doesn't know how to cook.
You're a chef, man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
a chef,
I mean,
you know.
this is something I absolutely love doing. But yeah, my guess is, especially after hearing you talk about keema and chicken breast, and the fact that Ishtyaq has probably never cooked in his life and always eats whatever mom's made.
And I have, man. I can cook chicken curry, bro. When I was in uni, I used to cook chicken curry all the time.
And Saber calls his air fryer his second wife, which is absurd because an air fryer is the laziest way you could possibly ever cook anything.
I can't eat air fried food, man. I tried like marinating it. I don't know how you eat it, but it's just so dry, man. Like I don't know.
I mean, you have to know the right temperature and the right timings because my chicken does not come out dry at all.
Oh, sorry, Gordon, I'm there.
No, it's bro, I've been air frying food for a year. I've tried and tested it so many times.
10,000 hours.
When I first got it, it was really bad. It used to get really dry. But I've learned like just from trial and error, the test, the amount, the time for a certain type of chicken, like in terms of weight. I know which marinade leaves it dry, which one doesn't, just from the local butchers. So yeah, it's just trial and error for me. And even if it's dry, honestly, the way I approach food when I'm not eating outside or whatever, I'm eating for function. I don't care about enjoyment. Like it's like they just said, like I have that grit in me, even though I'm telling you guys, like I'm so blasé about my lifting. On the side, like it's as locked in as you can get. I just don't let it overcome my thoughts, if that makes sense. So I eat for function. I don't care about enjoyment. But then obviously when I eat out, I eat well. But that's whatever.
I find that an unhealthy relationship with food, man. Because with me, if I don't enjoy my food, then I won't stay as consistent with it. Like when I was cutting for which comp was it? I think last year national, I was cutting down from like 70 to 68. And if I didn't enjoy my food at that time, if I didn't have nice food, if I ate dry food, I think I would have gave up halfway.
Yeah, but I'm the opposite. See, if I needed that, I don't think I would have been able to cut down from 82 to 73 in 8 weeks. During those sort of harsh periods, you need to just
I think for a short term you can do it.
Get on with it. And that's the habit I have. Like when I'm in game mode, I know what I need to do, I will just get on with it. And then obviously once a week
yeah. All right. So with that being said, 2 out of the 3 of you definitely need to go to your family and you have responsibilities to get to. So we're going to let you go. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor having all 3 of you on. I say this for like an entire country of like 170 plus million people. Like we're looking up to the 3 of you, like regardless of weight classes, regardless of numbers, like you are paving the way for an entire country. So please keep doing what you're doing. Ishtyaq, please keep up those damn steps. We need you to make weight and we need you to go get 3rd at Worlds. Saber, please avoid desserts every time you go out, every time you get stressed. Like that cheesecake is not the only option to get rid of your stress. And yeah, I mean, Kibria, don't get mugged. I don't know what happens in Birmingham. You probably are at risk of getting stabbed or something. Please don't do that and stay safe. But absolutely loved having the 3 of you on.
It was a pleasure, man. And shout out to all the Sility people that are listening. Yeah, if there is any Sility powerlifters that are listening, please shoot me a DM. I want to meet a Sility powerlifter. What was that?
Rafi, abar shuru theke bolo ki boltesila.
I was just saying, like all 3 of you are like absolute inspirations. Like you're the best powerlifters from our ethnicity, right? So yeah, just an honor having you guys. It was amazing, and would love to have you sometime soon.
Ishtyaq, just so you know, before Worlds, maybe like 2 weeks or something, we're definitely going to talk about numbers just a little bit. So we'll definitely have you back on sometime in the near future.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be on as well. I enjoyed it.